Hi, I'm Allie Langford.
And I'm Kelsey Wren, and we did our study over sexual satisfaction and how it correlates with attachment styles and sexual self-esteem. So, sexual satisfaction is essentially just how happy and content you are with your current sex life. In previous studies, it's been positively correlated with mental and physical health, and women have rated sex as highest on happiness value when asked to rate different activities on how much happiness they bring. Attachment styles refers to how we connect or bond to other individuals. This is typically established in infancy or childhood, and it influences the way we view dynamics in the relationship. There are a couple different attachment styles. A few are secure, preoccupied, dismissive, and fearful. And my hypothesis was that attachment styles as a whole will be moderately correlated with sexual satisfaction, but the direction will depend upon style. So I predicted that secure attachment style would have a positive correlation with sexual satisfaction. To review some previous literature, attachment avoidance in males was negatively correlated with relationship and sexual satisfaction for women, and it was only negatively associated with sexual satisfaction for men. Attachment style also influences other sexual behaviors or preferences, such as pillow talk. Individuals with an avoidant attachment style tend to avoid post-sex communication, also known as pillow talk, because it is too intimate and therefore uncomfortable. For my portion of the study, the study was posted on Reddit, Facebook, and Instagram. And of the 87 that took the survey, I had to remove 38 because of lack of response. And the majority of participants were female. The mean age was 23, and the majority were heterosexual and either seriously dating one person or single.
So for our study, our main variable was sexual satisfaction. So we measured that with the new sexual satisfaction scale short form, which consisted of 12 items that were each scored on a 1 to 5 Likert scale, and the total score for each measure was summed to give the total score.
And I used the adult attachment scale short form, which had 18 items on a 5-point Likert scale, again from 1 to 5. And it had 3 different subscales: depend, close, and anxiety. And the mean was taken for each subscale to try and find specific attachment styles. So for my results, the anxiety subscale was weakly negatively correlated with sexual satisfaction. And this was especially true for women. However, it was moderately positively correlated for men. And the depend subscale was moderately positively correlated with the sexual satisfaction, again, especially true for women, while the close subscale was weakly negatively correlated with sexual satisfaction. So those who scored higher on the depend subscales were moderately more likely to report higher levels of sexual satisfaction. Again, this is true for women. It was higher for women, which makes sense because the majority of our participants were women. Some limitations of this study were the small, non-diverse samples population or sample size, and the averages for each subscale were too close to the median to accurately identify any attachment style. Therefore, it was much more difficult to try and find any correlation with the specific attachment styles, which is why I used the subscales for the results. And implications for future research. If this study were replicated with a larger, more diverse sample size, we would be able to generalize it to the population, and exploring the correlations with different demographics could be very informative. And researching correlations between attachment styles and other relationship patterns or other measures of relationship satisfaction could help us to help others improve their relationship or sexual satisfaction.
So again, I looked specifically at the relationship between sexual self-esteem and sexual satisfaction. So just a brief definition, sexual self-esteem relates to the confidence in one's ability to experience their sex life in a satisfying and enjoyable way. So sexual self-esteem and satisfaction have been linked in many other studies. They've been linked with cognitive interference during sexual encounters, self-confidence, self-consciousness during sexual intimacy, and sexual assertiveness. So clearly, sexual esteem is a complicated variable. So for the sake of this study, to find a correlation, we simplified it and just looked at the relationship between sexual esteem and sexual satisfaction. And I hypothesized that there would be a significant positive correlation between these two variables. So my data set looked a little bit different. I had 72 responses total, but after omitting the incomplete responses, the rest of my statistics were done with the 41 complete responses. Some demographics include age, which the mean age was 24. Most participants were female. The biggest group of relationship status were those in a serious relationship with one person, and most participants reported being straight. So again, I used the new sexual satisfaction scale short form. And for my particular leg of the study, I looked at the sexual self-esteem inventory short form, which was a 10 item scale that consisted of, or each item was scored from -2 to +2, and the sum of the scores was taken for the total score. So scores on the new sexual satisfaction scale range from 20 to 60, with high reliability of Cronbach's alpha of 0.89, and the scores on the sexual self-esteem inventory range from -15 to 20, with also a high reliability of 0.93. So my hypothesis ended up being supported because a positive significant correlation was found between sexual self-esteem and sexual satisfaction. On top of that, no significant gender differences were found. Men did not report significantly greater satisfaction compared to women, and they also did not report significantly higher sexual self-esteem compared to women. The total scores were on average higher, but given our small sample size, this difference was not significant. So on average, participants who reported being, who reported a higher sexual self-esteem also reported being more sexually satisfied. So this is consistent with past research, including a study that looked at sexual self-esteem, sexual assertiveness, and sexual satisfaction, and found strong positive correlations between the three variables. So this is similar to my study, just I didn't include the mediating variable of sexual assertiveness. Thank you.
Thank you.